All right, so welcome to the Jesse James podcast. Today I have my good friend and former Green Beret, Yonnie.
Hello, I'm Johnny, also known as Cuban Pete. As Jesse said, I'm a former Green Beret, retired now, just doing stuff at home. I'm here just to shoot the shit.
Nice. He's living the life. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, today we're looking up Space Force. So we were talking about how it broke down into the Space Force to what it is today. And I thought it was pretty funny that Trump was like, I created that. I did that. Nobody else. Trump, not Biden, not Obama, whoever, you know. And then we started deep diving into where it came from and why I think it's good and what else they'll carry on from there. So, all right. So this is breaking. President Trump is set to announce that he's reversing a Biden-era decision on where Space Force and Space Command HQ will be located. It's going from Colorado to Alabama. All right. Hey, it sounds like it's going to give some jobs to Alabama. Yonnie was telling me how Space Command broke off of the Air Force and broke down into what it is today is what is it? The Space Force now? United States Space Force?
Yeah, what I was saying, we were talking about earlier is that the naysayers, when Trump decided to make the Space Force its own branch, were saying, well, there was no need for that because we already had the Space Command within the Air Force to take care of space-related tasks, and it was unnecessary. It was a necessary move, maybe a stunt, but what my opinion is, and I'm a knuckle dragger, so whatever, take it for what it's worth. The same could be argued about the Air Corps, the Army Air Corps, that later on became the Air Force. And the importance of having its own command is, not only funding, but now you have, like you were saying, SMEs, right? Where you don't have the same brass, the same people that are advocating for missions, taskings, funding, the same people vying for promotion, in a heavy command or a heavy branch. Now you have their own people advocating for what's important to them, and they're both branches are important to us, the American people.
Yeah. Where do you think Space Force is going? Do you think it's going to be like only for terrestrial style targeting, or do you think it'll also go into like maybe tracking meteors or comets, or some random object that's
UAPs?
flying? Yeah, UAPs or something like that. Some aliens flying in from Mars or something.
I think it's all the above. Similar to us land animals, everything that was a threat or importance to us, in the Army, it'll be the same for them, from anywhere from ICBMs to satellite warfare, that's the future. I think satellite warfare will revolutionize space warfare the same way drones are revolutionizing warfare now for us on land, as we see in Russia and Ukraine,
right?
And then you have UAPs.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. I was like, man, what do you think about drones? Like, there's gonna be ground drones, aerial drones, submersible drones. There's gonna be drones flying through space. There's we're just 4-dimensional chess of drones. That's pretty much what we're playing.
Yeah, and we already see them. So
plus UAPs,
right? So now
fifth dimensional.
We're already looking at so many, because we have UAPs that are now submerged.
Yeah, submersible. Yeah.
So now you have drones that are submersible, and the UAP issue is also
submersibles.
Yeah.
Man, I've seen some crazy, maybe not crazy, but some theories about there's a whole underwater alien civilization or something way down there, and that's the UAP phenomena. Dude, have you seen this though? Check this out. This is a mothership for drones.
not seen that.
That's
But
crazy, right?
it makes sense. It is crazy.
Mother drone.
And I would
Mother
say, kind of to go along or to stay on topic with the whole Space Force topic. Imagine how warfare is being shaped by drones now. That on top of everything that we've been doing so far, everything that the Air Force has been busy with so far, now you add drones to it. Eventually, something's gonna have to give. So if on top of everything that we have thrown at the Air Force, they also have to worry about the space command or the space command, right? Why not let a whole new branch take care of the space arena so that they can focus on whatever and below, and let the Space Force take care of 2 months up?
Dude, what about drones launched from space to target terrestrial objects? Like just a whole satellite that's just full of thousands of drones, and all of a sudden it just releases them and they all just go do whatever they need to do over the area they need to do it in. Surveillance, targeting, like an actual bomb.
That's insane, but it's also so plausible because the terminal stage of an ICBM is what you just described. It's from this, like after it re-enter the atmosphere from space, and some ICBMs can have multiple warheads on them, so that multiple warheads could be the drones. And then if you add AI tracking or AI targeting, that already replaces, like, you could have conventional munitions on these drones, and you don't even have to go nuclear. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, just like pretty much what we did with Iran, in a sense, that we use stealth fighters instead of, drone warfare from space. But I mean, think about using the same thing, stealth drones from space that just do whatever they want.
Right.
That's insane.
And even if you don't add the stealth technology, you just the swarm technology, you just overwhelm whatever your capabilities are, whether it's the Iron Dome or ADA system that you have.
The Golden Dome.
Yeah, the Golden Dome.
Dude, have you seen this video?
I don't think so.
All right, here, let's check this out. So I think this is called like the Orlensky. It's Russia's
supersonic
ICBM kind of thing.
Oh no.
So this is what they shot over Ukraine. I don't know, last year sometime. So I don't remember what it was called. I think it's called the Orlensky or something. But yeah, so that's their ICBM. And it said that same thing, how it'll come in and then it breaks up into multiple. You see the multiple rockets landing and hitting at the same time. So yeah, they shot a bunch of them at him, I guess, or a couple of them, just to show a force. Hey, we have ICBMs. You can't stop them.
We're willing to use them.
Yeah, that too. The Ukraine war, man, I think that's really changed warfare for everybody. Everybody. Ground warfare is, man, I tell you what, like fighting through and living through like OIF or the war on terror, right? And seeing what the Ukrainians have to fight against with these drones in trench warfare, man, I feel for them.
Yeah,
I feel for them, man.
I don't envy them at all. I was just thinking about the other day that in 2003, when Third RD was on the way out from Iraq after the first wave, and the first IED would hit the first soft arm, or soft shell Humvees and with no armor, how IEDs shaped warfare at that time and for years to come. That's what these drones are doing to warfare today.
Yeah, what the IED did.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like we've known about IEDs, I mean, since Vietnam or even before that, right? But the level that they did in Afghanistan and Iraq with hundreds of pounds, where they would literally blow vehicles up out of the way, and like the old Humvees soft shell. Then they went to up armor and they were just blasting through the armor. And then after that, they started making like the RGs. You remember that? Like the RG-31 and the 33 and stuff.
The Max Pros.
Yeah, then the Max Pros. Yeah. Oshkosh, that was a big one.
Yeah.
But they had all of those vehicles, and IEDs completely shaped and changed all of our tactics.
Yeah.
All of our tactics changed all of the American tactics in everything. Even if you think about like aerial, they started like trying to look for command wires and stuff from the air, you know, with UAVs and things like that, or looking from like observation points. We had birds looking for those, you know, because they had command wires or like a way to set it off from a distance, remote jet, you know, and or pressure plates. It literally slowed us all down. We started having to walk everywhere, you know?
Walk everywhere. The gunners have to watch out for the wires hanging up from under overpasses. The IEDs on how many combat engineers had to remove the what's it called, the railing on roads
Yeah.
because they went from the road to elevating them behind the railing on overpasses and bridges.
Yeah.
Um, they in Iraq, in Baghdad, or really built up areas, they started masking the IEDs in the on the sidewalks and spray painting them to make it look like concrete.
Yeah.
Like they got super.
Putting them in vehicles, putting them in culverts, you know, putting them in sandbags, putting them in trash.
They got very creative, and I think that with drones, I think is a. I'm not sure whose tactic it is, but even now with the drones, they'll have. I don't know if it's Ukrainian tactic or Russian, but they have the drone out where in a possible enemy avenue of approach, they'll sit them there on the ground, wait for a vehicle to pass, and then they'll take off. But the drone had been already linked and prepped the whole time. So
Yeah,
now
I've
they
seen
have,
them.
yeah,
They I've seen them to where they do that. Like they'll just sit there on like the fiber cable. They'll be hooked to a fiber cable. Once somebody comes by, they're just like, "Brrr," and what it does is it saves them battery. You know, once someone comes by that location, they just pick it up and just boom and hit them right there. That's crazy. They're like proximity mines that fly at you.
and so now the same thing could be applied to space.
Oh yeah.
So then why not have a command that takes care of that that battle space? Like whatever space starts, have Space Force,
Yeah.
have Space Force take care of that because you're already gonna have your hands full with that, and then continue to fight the Air Force warfare, or continue to have the master the Air Force battle space with the Air Force, and not have to worry about Air Force work and space work.
Dude, to be like to be in charge of like the Department of Defense. That's gonna be probably the toughest job. I like the idea of actually changing it from defense to Department of War. I think that's pretty badass, you know? But to be like in charge of the Department of Defense, think of all of that stuff you just talked about. You have to really, you know, like take command of base all the way down to submersibles, you know, and everywhere in between. And then you have to try to sync these guys up to be able to take the fight to anybody in the world at any point at a time, from the ground to submersibles to like that whole show of force, or not show of force, like literally just pummeling Iran in one day, one night, you know, that's got some crazy strategic level thinking that went on that was completely in silence. And Pete Hegseth, the Department of War
Secretary.
yeah, the Secretary of Defense, you know, he commanded all that and it executed almost perfectly. That's badass.
That's badass, and I liked it. And as far as the Department of War uh, name change, it's not necessarily the department. It's not like they're whoever is complaining about it. Like it's not that they're changing it into the Department of Colonization. It's not the Department of Attack. It's a Department of War, meaning we are gonna conduct war, and we're gonna be the SMEs on warfare. That's it. The Department of Defense sounds almost like you're gonna wait to be attacked and then defend yourself. Now, is it a big deal? maybe not, but it's a mindset. You're always preparing to defend yourself. Then it's a mindset thing. Um, like the difference between our vehicles when we were in and the conventional forces vehicles. They usually, not to, not to knock anybody in in the conventional forces because we were conventional forces before, right? But the vehicles look like normal vehicles that the enemy or the insurgents or whatever could say, you know what, I have a chance if I attack this convoy. But our vehicles, we had smaller convoys, but we look like porcupine,
Yeah.
right? So if you look like a porcupine, you're less likely to look like a soft target. Or
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what? I can get away with attacking these dudes. So I think it's a mentality thing. The Department of Defense sounds like you're on the defensive all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if the Department of War, it's like, all right, cool. We're not only thinking about defending, we're thinking about warfare, all aspects.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's a big deal enough the name change in a negative way, but I think that it's a big deal enough in a positive way where it sends the mindset from our adversaries, but also from the people that serve in it. Like, hey, you know what? We're not just defending.
Yeah.
I,
And all right, so what he means by porcupine, like if you look at a convoy, like a normal infantry convoy that was rolling through Afghanistan or Iraq, or even Syria, they'll have it looks uniform. There's a standard in a sense of everything's got to be samesies, right? So you'll have 8 vehicles rolling through Iraq or Afghanistan Route 1, and that's the route they're going to take. They have to stay on that route, that kind of thing, right? When an SF team did the same thing, they would roll out in 4 vehicles and a bunch of like Afghani army. If it was in Afghanistan, they would have Afghani army forces with them, right? In other Hiluxes, their trucks, Humvees, things like that. But when we were in there, we had guns facing every single direction. You had your main gunner in the top of it. You had in the back, you probably had 2 SF dudes sitting in the back with guns facing out, looking out. You had American flags flying down through this convoy on multiple trucks, and every truck looked like that. And you just could tell that this was the hardest target you were going to actually hit. So when you're the Taliban and you look into hitting these targets, you might be able to hit an SF team with an IED and you'll take out 1 truck, but you're going to bring a hell of a fight on you. It's going to bring everything down on you. They're going to bring everything they have in the sky. All the assets will go to them, and it would just be a firestorm just unleashing on there, because you have JTACs, you have Bravos, those are our weapon sergeants, you have commo dudes calling all this stuff in, you have a captain that's usually a West Point grad, top of his class. Same thing when it comes to going through the Q course. They're top of their classes. They're really, really good at this. The team sergeants are just as badass at that same thing. They've already done their team time. They learned everything. They probably did every MOS, every job on the field. And so they're already gone through these fights before. They dealt with this stuff, and they're the calmest dude out there, calmest guy out there. Same thing with the chief. Chief is just like that officer and the master sergeant in charge of that team. He's like a perfect blend of both of them, and they're in complete control of this whole chaos. You hit an infantry team, and you have some young dudes, some 18, 19. You also have like some 25, 30-year-old, 40-year-old guys, like such a mix. But the actual level of control and calmness is a whole different level. You do have some guys that have fought in there, like the platoon sergeant probably fought maybe 2 or 3 times, already went over there, had some good, decent gunfights, but they're just a softer target. So the Taliban were able to create more chaos and more destruction hitting those softer targets than it would be this ginormous porcupine of death. Like, you don't want to mess with a porcupine.
But also, and to add to that is that infantry or conventional convoy, you also could tell what vehicles had the fighters in it, what vehicles had, supplies. So the big LMTV probably didn't have a gunner, and if it did, it still looked like a cargo truck,
Yeah.
right? Whereas if we were carrying supplies, you couldn't tell because all our trucks look the same. They all look like they're out there to wage war. You know, you don't know which one had the water. You don't know which one had the MREs.
Well, they
You don't
all
know-
did.
You don't know which one had the soccer balls and the blankets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because every truck looked like it was out there to do one thing and one thing only, and it wasn't CA.
Yeah.
Even if we were doing a KLE, even if it was if it was CA that we were doing, you know, like a conventional convoy, you could tell the fueler truck. There was no mistake in that one. You had if you had a record vehicle, you know what I mean. Like if you hit one, you know which ones to avoid.
You know, there was like times where it's like you had a fueler with you or you had a random truck with you as an SF guy, you know, and they would look at you and be like, oh man, it's just not worth it. You know, it's just like, oh, you would hear them on chatter too. Like, oh no, what the bearded ones, the bearded ones, the bearded ones are here, you know? And it was, man, it's some crazy times. It definitely taught me a lot, man. Taught me how to shaped me into the person I am today, you know, and it's really fun. So go SF. But back onto this whole thing. I like the idea of Department of War. The last time we were named Department of War was during World War II. And we won that one.
I didn't know that. I thought that was a British thing.
Department of War?
Yeah.
No, I think it, man.
I mean, that's good either way.
I think it was in between Korea and World War II is when it was changed. Let's check it out. So in 1947, it was changed to the Department of Defense. And then we lost every war after that because we tried to defend them. We need to defend their democracy.
Don't get me started on that one.
Oh, man. I love going down that rabbit hole. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys all watching this. This was my buddy Yonnie, and I thank you for coming on the podcast.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Make sure you guys give us a like, a share, and subscribe. This is the Jesse James Show.
Thank you for having me.
Come check this.